Good afternoon and welcome to Silvernuts Garage. We are back on the 61 Panhead. I have the primary cover off and I'm going to go over just a brief, some quick things on the clutch plates and friction discs and what to do and what I'm trying to do. Basically, I want to make this bike mechanical. I'm going to ride it as is. So at this point, I figured I'd go through the clutch today, or at least get started. If you want some really detailed videos, I'll tell you some great guys to look. Pacific Mike, phenomenal. He's got some great videos. Tactro Machine is another one, and there's a bunch of guys that have some really detailed videos. So check some of those out too. But what I'm going to do is show you real quick. Once the cover is off, you have a push rod adjusting lock screw, which is right here, and this is your push rod adjustment. And the first thing you want to do is you want to take this off, and I have had this off, so everything's going to come off pretty easy. So you take your lock nut off, and little trick to where you can get your pressure plate. And some people call it a pressure plate. I think maybe outer disc pressure plate's what the book calls it. But you take that nut off. You can back out this screw a little bit to give you some room to put some washers on. And I've kind of already done that. So you back that out. Grab any kind of, I put together a bunch of washers. So what I'm doing is I'm putting some washers on here. And I'm going to take this nut and I'm going to put it back on. And once I get it started, I'll tell you why. So I put that on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten this nut, which is going to push against these washers, push against these springs, and allow me to take these nuts off and take this pressure plate off without all of these springs. I think there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 springs, without 10 springs falling out, me having to take the time to put them back together, etc. So all you do is put a couple washers on, go ahead and tighten that up, enough to push the spring in a little bit. Then you can go ahead and back these nuts off, and if you need to, you may need to use a wrench. It's a 1/2-inch wrench. Well, I'll find a 1/2 inch here somewhere. And I'm wrong, it's a 9/16. So if I can back those off, take these off, and you can see that these nuts have a little piece taken out of them, and they've got a little weld mark there, so you can get a 1/2 turn, and that's what keeps these from backing off while you're riding. So that's pretty cool. So you take these 3 off, and I've got some greasy hands. There's a nice one. All right, once you have those off, then you can take your pressure plate right off. And the reason I put that on is to hold all of those springs. If I did not do that and took that off, those springs would have pushed this center plate out and they'd all fallen on the ground, and I'd be in another 1/2 hour or so. So that's how you get that off. Once you get that pressure plate off, you have all of these discs that are actually inside here. And this is your actual, I think they call it a clutch shell. So your clutch shell holds all your clutch plates. This first one is a friction plate, has a pad on both sides. And then your friction plate, then there's a steel plate. And you do have on each side of these steel plates, you have an out. It says out. Wants to be out. We'll get into that when we put it back together, why. It actually has a spring and a little ball here that keeps it from clattering around. But those come out one at a time. There's a friction plate. First one would be a friction plate, steel plate, friction plate, steel plate, friction plate, steel plate, friction plate, steel plate, all the way back. Really the only thing you want to watch when you put them back together after you clean them up is that you make sure that you get the out sticking out on the steel plates. So once that's off, then you've got to where this will come off, but your chain is in the way, and this is your primary chain. And to get your primary chain off, you have to take your compensator nut off and take this sprocket off at the same time that you take your clutch basket out. So they make this handy dandy tool. It has 4 pins. Those 4 pins stick in those 4 holes. This is a standard right-hand thread. So when you're taking it off, you want to take it off as if you know, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, unlike your back nut, which is the opposite. So I'll put this on here, and we'll go here, and we have the step tool that you can put in, and that's what actually keeps your motor from turning, and you're not banging against your gears in your bike, etc. So if I'm up against, and I'm sure I'm going to go the other way. All right. And I'm just watching because there is a spring. It won't fly off at you, but so that's how you get that off. So as you continue to take it off, you're going to have that piece. Take that little step tool out. You're going to have your spring down here like that. And then you're going to have the other piece to your compensator. It's going to be back. And I lay them all, I don't know if you can see, but as I take it off, I'm laying them all in order so that I don't forget how to put it back together. I guess if you did it enough every day, you would know. I don't. So we're going to see. Now, it's going to come off there, and I'm going to pull this clutch basket off, as well as this front sprocket, and try to get them off without dropping everything and without losing a bunch of bearings, etc. And there we go. Now I can take that off. This piece here, I'll just lay that here for now. I'll take this chain off, and I will set that in there the way it goes, so I have it all in there the way it came off. And clutch basket now is off, which is going to give me a chance to check my sprocket, clean up the inside, get all this oil out, etc., etc. And also check the chain. Now, the way you can check these chains is holding it out like that, and actually that's a pretty good chain. One that's really wore will bend. That stays pretty straight, so I like that. Looks like somebody's been in here, which is cool. Plates aren't bad. We've got some thickness there, other than cleaning them up with some denatured alcohol and so on and so forth, getting them all clean. We're good. Now the next section I'll get into here in a little bit is, or the next video, I'm going to look, there's like 20 bearings here that we have spring, and I think I don't know if those are bearing, I think they're like bearing plate springs. They have a new, and I'm actually going to buy it, so once I put this all back together, I'll show you a new plate that goes on here that actually is an upgrade from what Harley did here. So I'm going to go ahead and it really keeps the basket from wobbling, which keeps all your friction discs straight so that you get good wear and good contact. So I'm going to show you a couple things that you want to check for once I get it apart. You want to make sure that all these spindles are on your clutch hub, and that's what this is, a clutch hub, are not really grooved. And these are grooved a little bit, but I don't think that they're grooved bad enough to worry about. And I'm fortunate enough to have a gentleman that belongs to the Buckeye Antique Motorcycle Club that I've been using as a sounding board. I've been giving him a call, and he's been very nice and answering some questions when I get out of my comfort zone. So all is good. So he said, you know, don't sweat the small stuff. So I'm not. Other than that, I think that's about it for tonight, or at least for this video. So we'll get, what I'm going to do now is I will clean all of this stuff up. I'm going to clean all these plates up. I'm going to clean them all with denatured alcohol, get them all ready to roll, get my chain clean, clean up my pressure plate, make sure that it's flat and it looks pretty good. And then I will probably take this off, redo these bearings as far as grease, and then as I put it back together, I'll show you the new piece that I'm going to buy and the new gaskets or rubber seals that are going to go in here, and we'll see you on the next one. So get a chance, leave a comment, smack that monkey, smash that bell, pat that poodle bug, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.